Usually when you think of companies that made Plants vs. Zombies plushes, you usually think of companies like Linkson, WorldMax, and maybe Jazzwares, but today we're going to be looking at a company that made Plants vs. Zombies plushes, which is extremely unknown by basically everyone. So with that said, welcome to a look at the Mei Xing Plants vs. Zombies plush set. Now let's start off with the first plush in the set, which is the Sunflower. Now, first things first, these plushes are all supposed to be pillows, so that's why some of them look a little off because, well, they're supposed to be pillows, so I'm going to kind of be looking at the design like as a pillow instead of as like a plush. So that's why a lot of these plushes have like really big faces and small details because, well, they're mainly just supposed to be pillows. Now for the Sunflower, they did a pretty good job making it. Overall looks pretty nice. The sunflower head is a tan color, which is accurate, and all the petals are a nice plush material, and well, they also look accurate. The mouth is embroidered on, and well, the eyes actually seem to be a separate piece of plush material, just like glued or maybe stitched onto the face. And then those eyes that are on the face of the plush, they have white embroidery on them to show like the pupils. So yeah, overall the face of the sunflower is really good, except the only bad thing about this plush is that, well, it has like a really weird looking stem. For some reason the stem's like in a rectangular shape, and it also is just really short, and the leaves are just kind of like really inaccurate looking. And to be honest with you, I think it would have been a better plush if they just didn't include the stem and leaves at all because, well, the face looks pretty good by itself. So I'm kind of disappointed that they did add these leaves and a stem on it because, well, it would have looked a lot better just as a sunflower head. But ignoring the stem and the leaves, the face is pretty good overall. There is a few bad things about the face though, like that the quality control and the shape of the face is really weird. There's some like this one I'm showing on screen right now that has like a circular face, but there's also some like this that have like really weird points on like the sides of the faces and like are shaped really weirdly. But yeah, overall, besides like the stem and the bad quality control, I could say that this plush is okay, I guess. If you want this plush, look on eBay or Zanu, but you basically have a really small chance of finding it because, well, it basically has never shown up. Now let's move on to the next plush in this set, which is the Snow Pea. Now the Snow Pea head is actually really good and it's shaped really nicely, and they did a great job making like an accurate looking shape on everything. An accurate part about this plush though is that where it's supposed to shoot out the peas, it's supposed to be black and not like a darker blue color, but I still do like it because it does look pretty nice overall. The eyes once again seem to be a different piece of plush material just stitched onto the face, which is, well, a pretty nice detail as it adds more like depth to the plush. And the pupils are just stitched onto those. And it also has leaves on the back of the head. I can't really tell how many leaves there are, but there seems to be a good amount of them just hanging off the back of the head, and overall I think they look pretty nice looking. But just like the sunflower, the thing that kind of ruins this plush is, well, the stem again just doesn't really look that good. The stem has a ring on it which goes around the Snow Pea's head, and also the stem is just really short, and the leaves are also kind of looking inaccurate. Overall, it is better than the sunflower stem, but overall, I still think it would have been better just to have the Snow Pea head with the leaves on the back of the head. Because overall, the plush without the stem just looks really good if you ignore like the stem and the leaves at the bottom of it. But yeah, this plush really has to be one of the better plushes in this whole set because, well, I overall really like the design of it, and without the stems and the leaves, it looks pretty good. Now, this is the last time I'm going to say where to get these plushes because they all get in the same place, just like on eBay or Zanu, but there's a really low chance of finding basically every single one of these plushes because they haven't showed up in years. Now let's go into one of the most obscure plushes in this set, being the Walnut. Now, I was only able to find 2 images of the walnut, which makes me think that, well, this walnut plush is a bit more obscure than the others in this set. And overall, I think they did a really good job making this walnut plush as it's an accurate shape and also has really nice embroidery on it, and this probably has to be one of the best walnut plushes I've ever seen. First off, the embroidery at the bottom of the walnut is a really nice detail and it adds more like depth to the walnut, and overall looks great. No other walnut plush does this made by any other company. The mouth and eyebrows are embroidered on and overall look really good, and like the eyes are just another separate piece of plush material just stitched onto the face. Overall, I'm kind of disappointed that this plush only has 2 images of it and is so obscure and rare because, well, I would love to get my hands on this plush because, well, it overall looks really nice and accurate and looks better than any other walnut plush in terms of accuracy that I've ever seen. And I kind of just wish that this plush was more common to get because I would love to have it. But sadly, this plush only has 2 images of it and basically you have no chance of finding it. Now let's move on to the next plush in the set, which actually has 2 designs of it, being the repeater. Now, one thing that you'll notice is that it basically uses the exact same pattern as the Snow Pea, just with a little extra details on it. It uses the exact same shape except both is a dark green color and well it has dark green leaves on the back of it, which are the exact same shape as the snow peas, which is technically inaccurate because snow pea is supposed to be shaped a little different than the repeater's leaves. The repeater also has eyebrows while the snow pea doesn't, and the eyebrows just seem to be like plush material either like stitched or glued on, just like the eyes on this plush. And the stem and the leaves on the bottom of the stem are the exact same as the snow pea except well just a different color obviously. But there are actually two designs of it, one having like where the peas would shoot out like a black color which is more accurate, and one having a lime color with also having lime eyebrows. The one with lime eyebrows and a lime shooter on it is more common as I've seen the most images of it, while the one with dark green eyebrows is slightly more rare even though both are extremely rare variants, but I've only seen really one image with the dark green eyebrows. And you have a very low chance finding either of these plushes, but this one does seem to have a lot of images of it with like the lime green eyebrows and has a pretty solid amount of images, so you might be able to find this one a little bit easier than others, but still extremely rare. Now let's go on to the only shroom in this set, being the magnet shroom. And overall, I do have to say that the company that made this did a great job making it, well, with the shape of the magnet at least. The shape of the magnet is spot on, and the eyes and the eyebrows are also just really nice looking. I'm glad that they made it look like this because, well, they did a great job doing it. The eyes and eyebrows seem to just be separate pieces of plush material, just either stitched or glued on, and overall they look really nice, and the pupils on the eyes are just like embroidered on. And overall, the magnet part is really good, except, well, the stem and the leaves on it make this plush a little worse, but still it just looks great overall. And this plush's stem and leaves look very similar to the limited edition magnet shroom, so I wonder if they based this plush like kinda off it with that part on the plush. And overall, even with the stem looking a little weird, this plush is still great and they did a good job making it. And instead of using the magnet shroom as a normal pillow itself, it would be more like a neck pillow, just like the Hello World and the magnet shroom made by World Max. Like, it would normally just be used as like a neck pillow. But now let's go on to the first pool plant in the set, being the lily pad. Now, before making this video, I originally only thought that Hello World made a lily pad plush, but it turns out that this company also did. And I do gotta say, this Hello World lily pad looks a lot worse than this one. I do gotta say, this one's superior to it, as they made the design of the lily pad just look a lot more accurate on this plush, and overall looks great. It uses an accurate shape, and also the lily pad where it kind of like bends a bit in the game are like embroidered on, as you can see here. It just looks really nice overall, and embroidered on with like dark green instead of like lime green, so it stands out a bit more. The eyes are just plush material and they're just stitched onto the plush, and also they have eyebrows going over it, which is another extra detail that they added, and the pupils are just embroidered onto it. Overall, this probably has to be the best lily pad plush ever made by any company, and overall looks great. And overall, this plush is a lot better than the Hello World lily pad, but is even more rare than the Hello World lily pad because, well, this plush is extremely rare and has very few images of it. I've never even seen a listing of it, as I have seen listings of the Hello World lily pad, so you have a very low chance of finding this plush, but I would love to find it at some point because, well, it just looks really cool overall. Now let's go into by far the most common plush in this whole set, being the squash. Now, unlike most plushes in this set, this actually has some recent documentation of this plush. And there has actually been some recent listings of it overall, like on eBay and like other Chinese websites. So out of any plush in this set, you do have the highest chance of finding this one, but even though this plush has showed up a few times, it's still extremely rare and you have a very low chance of finding it. But out of all these plushes in this set, you have the highest chance of finding this one. And overall, the squash plush is actually really nicely detailed. The shape of the squash is really nice and it has embroidery with dark green on it to make like the plush stand out a bit more in that area, and also the mouth is embroidered on and overall looks really nice. The one thing that this plush is quite infamous for is, well, the eyes on it, because, well, the eyes are just kind of wide open and he kind of just looks like he's in a shocked expression, which overall looks really funny, and overall this makes this plush look even better. Even though it is quite inaccurate, it just still looks overall pretty nice looking, and it's something that adds more uniqueness to the squash plush. And the eyebrows and eyes are just like other separate plush material, just like stitched onto the plush itself, but overall it looks really nice. The really only bad detail about this plush is the stem on the top of it. The reason for that being is, well, the stem could be really floppy over time, and overall could just look really weird because, well, it sags down because, well, these plushes are quite old and like the stuffing has kind of like worn out. But besides that, this plush is overall really good, and I would definitely recommend looking for this one, as it has the highest chance of you finding it. But now let's move on to probably the worst plush in this set in terms of accuracy, being the jalapeno. Now, as I said before, this plush is just really inaccurate to like the jalapeno design. First off, the shape of it's just really wrong as well. The jalapeno is not supposed to be that wide, and also is supposed to curve more at like the bottom of the plush, except it doesn't. It just kind of looks really weird looking. And for some reason, the stem's also really wide, which really isn't accurate at all. And this jalapeno just for some reason is like really stretched out with like the mouth and the eyes. And they overall made the plush just way too big for it to look accurate. I do understand why they stretched out. It is supposed to be a pillow, but like companies like Linkson and Worldmax have done a lot better jobs with like a jalapeno pillow. Because the mouth and eyes just look really weird, and also the shape of it just makes this plush look really inaccurate. It's probably the worst in the set because, well, it just doesn't look that accurate compared to the others in the set. But yeah, overall, this probably has to be the worst in the set, but overall, you should still probably get it if you do see it for sale because, well, this plush is extremely rare. Now, this one's probably one of the strangest plushes in this whole set, being the Starfruit. Now, why do I say this plush is so strange as well? But it looks very similar to like the bootleg Starfruit. Basically, a while back, a bootleg company made this Starfruit plush, and overall, it looks really similar to this company's Starfruit, so I'm guessing it's based off of that. Because basically, the eyes, the mouth, and just everything about this plush looks exact to like the bootleg, except that the bootleg's just smaller than this version. And also, the eyes are just like separate pieces that are just stitched on. There's also some separate detail at the end of the points of the star, but besides that, this plush is exactly like the bootleg version. And it's just really weird to see like a bootleg Starfruit, but that's not actually made by the bootleg company themselves, and instead made by a different company. And overall, this just seems to be a higher quality version of the bootleg. Overall, a really strange plush, and it just seems that this company was just trying to make an extra plush, so they based it off of a bootleg. But unlike the bootleg, this plush is extremely rare, and well, but you have a lot higher chance of finding the bootleg because it's basically everywhere. But if you do want this version of the company's Starfruit, you basically have no chance of finding it. Now let's go on to the next plush in this set, which is the tall nut. Now this really doesn't look that much like a tall nut plush because, well, yeah, the face and everything is accurate, but it uses the exact same shape as the walnut. And it seems that they just took the walnut pattern and just changed details about it to make it look more like a tall nut, such as like the angry looking expression and the extra details at the bottom being slightly different. And I think it would have been better if they used like the walnut pattern but just stretched it out near the bottom to make it, well, look taller like a tall nut. But I do gotta say, they did a good job changing the expression to like an angry look and also adding the extra details at the bottom, making it look more unique. And they did a good job at that part of the plush, but I just wish they kind of made it look longer and more taller because, well, it's supposed to be a tall nut. It's supposed to be tall. This plush also seems to be slightly more common than others in the set because, well, it has a lot more images than basically a lot of others in this whole set. Now let's go on to the next plush in the set, which is the gold magnet. Now, even though they use the exact same pattern as the magnet shroom, they did change like every detail that was necessary to make this plush accurate to a gold magnet instead of like a normal magnet shroom. They changed the gray part to a light gold color, which overall looks really nice in my opinion, and overall just looks really good because, well, it has an extra shine to this plush, and also like the gold color used on like the normal magnet shroom looks really good. They also changed the gray eyebrows to lime green eyebrows, which is accurate, and changed the shroom part on the magnet shroom to leaves, which is also accurate. So they basically just changed everything on this plush to make it like accurate to a gold magnet instead of like a normal magnet shroom. Which isn't done by every company because some companies do mess up making like the gold magnet look very similar to the magnet shroom and not accurate to a gold magnet. So I'm glad that this company did a great job doing that. But overall, this plush is really obscure and you basically have no chance of finding this gold magnet shroom plush because, well, it's very hard to find. And just like the walnut, it only has 2 images of it and probably has to be one of the rarest in the whole set. But now let's go on to another somewhat more common plush in this whole set, being the Gloom Shroom. Now, just like the squash in this set, it actually does have some recent listings of it on like some obscure Chinese websites, so this probably does have like another higher chance of finding this plush than others in this set, but it's still extremely rare. And there was also like even recently a listing with a squash and a Gloom Shroom in one listing, which shows that these plushes are probably the most common in the whole set. But one thing I do find weird about this plush even existing is, well, it doesn't have a fume shroom to like use an upgrade on it. You would think if a company makes like a gloom shroom, they would make a fume shroom, and the same thing with the Hello World set, they didn't make like a fume shroom, so I wonder why they made a gloom shroom and just not a fume shroom. It's overall just a really weird choice, but even with that accuracy, it overall is still a pretty good plush and looks very similar to the Hello World gloom shroom, but that does make sense because, well, it probably was based off of that. as it uses like the exact same shape and uses the exact same pattern as the Hello World, except well, it's a lighter purple color, and also it has like plush eyes instead of like embroidered on eyes. And also the mouth is embroidered on, same thing with the pupils on like the extra plush material that's stitched onto the face. And you do have a higher chance of finding this plush than basically any other plush in the set. Same thing with the squash, so I would recommend looking for this plush. And if you could find it, I would definitely recommend buying it. Overall, all these plushes in the set are extremely rare, and none of them basically have any modern documentation besides the squash and, well, the Gloom Shroom. But yeah, which plush in the set is your favorite? Mine's probably the lily pad, but comment down below yours, and yeah, have a great day.